One of the few House Republicans who has not spent the entire last month and a half at home in his district. Congressman Kevin Kiley of California is with me. You have been going back and forth, you told me. I know you're meeting with constituents, but you said early on, I'm staying here. My door is open. I want to talk to my fellow lawmakers, Republican and Democrats. I'm just curious, how's that going? How much response have you had?
It's going all right. I mean, it'd be a lot better if the House is actually here in session and we could legislate and we could play a role in actually trying to get the country out of this mess. But I've been doing whatever I can under the circumstances.
You hear from Sarah Nelson, you just heard there. She is visibly angry. She is upset. She's calling on the speaker, right, to do something in this moment. What have your conversations been? Have you been able to have conversations with the speaker?
I have had conversations with the speaker, although he has not given me any explanation that makes any sense at all as to why we would cancel. It's not just that we're not here, it's that we were supposed to be here. We were supposed to have session each of the last 6 weeks. We had hearings lined up for oversight, for marking up legislation, and everything else. And so all of that has been canceled, and the House of Representatives as an institution has essentially been sidelined, and all of the action is over in the Senate in trying to actually negotiate a path out of the shutdown.
There is, I'm sure you've heard some of it, but I just want to play a little bit of what some travelers were telling us today in terms of how they look at all of this. Take a listen.
Trump and the Republicans need to get off their butt and start negotiating with the Democrats.
I mean, our whole system of government is set up for negotiations.
People are really hurting out here, and it's not just the traveling public, but it's affecting the whole economy, and you people are to blame.
He said, "You people," he's talking to you and your fellow lawmakers. How do you respond to those concerns?
I mean, I think he's right. Like, it puts in such sharp relief. You have such pain right now in this country with air traffic controllers who are trying to figure out how to feed their families, and now millions of people being affected by flight delays and cancellations, all because politicians in Washington, D.C. are not doing the most basic part of our job, which is to keep the government that the taxpayers are paying for open.
So I've heard this. You've been sounding this alarm, right, for a number of weeks now. I feel like we keep hearing the same things from lawmakers, right, no matter which party it's from. We did see from Senator Schumer today, came and said, okay, I'm presenting this unified offer. We'll reopen the government, extend the subsidies for a year. That did not happen, right? That's not happening. Senator Thune is keeping senators here for the weekend. But when you see an offer like that, knowing that we heard from Speaker Johnson earlier this week that even if this happened, that there would not be a vote in the House, what does that tell you about how he wants this to end?
Well, I think it's a major problem because that's actually part of what may be prolonging the shutdown, is that the Senate, it's harder for them to negotiate not knowing what the House would then do, even if they were able to reach a deal, because the House isn't here to really participate in that in any way. And the fundamental problem here is that a lot of the strategy right now seems to be out who's winning or who's more to blame, trying to blame the other side. Like, that, all that stuff doesn't matter to the folks that you just talked to in that video who are so frustrated with what the government is doing. What matters is that we actually find a solution to get the government open and get the country on the right track.
I mean, how hopeful are you that that's going to happen? We're staring down Thanksgiving, right? You're seeing the pain. You're seeing more than 40 million Americans going without food assistance.
Right.
What is it going to take?
You know, that's a good question. I had thought there was a little bit of hope over the last couple of days, but now it seems like things are a little further apart. And with all these problems we're seeing with the flight delays, we're here at the airport. They're going to get much worse as Thanksgiving comes up. Right now is actually a low travel period in the weeks before Thanksgiving. But as we get close to Thanksgiving, if we don't have the government open, if we don't have paychecks going to air traffic controllers, it's going to be a very bad state of affairs.
You just heard Sarah Nelson say that she thinks, I'm paraphrasing here, but she was saying she thinks in some ways this is maybe intentional, that this is a goal to break the government, to maybe privatize things. How do you respond to that? Do you think that could be behind some of this?
I don't really think so. I think that everyone wants the government to get back open. It's just that political considerations on both sides and excessive partisanship are preventing that from happening. And so I think that everyone wants that to happen. No one wants this chaos at our airports that we're going to see. No one wants people to go without their SNAP benefits. And that's why there should be, enough political will here to find a solution.
When you talk about political will, as I noted, you've stayed. Mostly stayed in Washington, despite the speaker not calling in the House. Is it also a little bit easier for you? I mean, you firsthand know what it's like, what's happening with redistricting based on Proposition 50 in California and what that means for your seat. Does that also give you a little bit more freedom to call him out?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I've certainly been sort of an independent voice ever since I got here. I was elected in 2022, and I specifically said when I ran that I'm going to be an independent voice for my district. And so when that means standing up to my own party leadership, I'm willing to do that. And unfortunately, when it comes to redistricting and when it comes to this government shutdown, I've strongly disagreed with how our leadership has handled it. And by the way, I think both of these episodes really underscore the extent to which political division and partisanship is actually one of the biggest challenges facing our country right now.
Oh, and a lot of Americans would agree with that. When it comes to your political future, you said you would run again. What does that look like? Where are you running?
Yeah, good question. So I am going to run again. I think I do have a strong path to re-election. The problem is that my district has been cut into 6 different pieces. And so I'm in this kind of impossible dilemma where it's like I can only continue to represent part of my existing constituency. And so which one do I go with? And so I haven't made any decisions, and I'm not really in any rush to do so. We have until March of next year to figure out where to file. So I'm going to be talking with folks throughout my district to figure out what the best path forward is going to be.
All right. Well, we look forward to you telling us.
All right.
Congressman, appreciate you coming to the airport tonight.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you having me back.